Hey, WVVA peeps, it's Mrs. Hicks coming at you in Fox style. You don't know this song? It's awesome. All right, so just a little bit of fun there with what does a fox say? And now, moving on to character analysis paper for Romeo and Juliet, your very last assignment as freshmen. Woo! Right. So first thing, be sure to put quotes in quotation marks. Cite where you got them in the text, like Act 3, Scene 3, right? And do not use personal pronouns, I, me, you, etc. Cannot use them at all anywhere in this paper unless it is a direct quote. So, first of all, we need to download this paper. So you're going to come into our class. Let me view as a student. You can either go to content and scroll down to this week and find the assignments, right? So week 17, actually the last week, and find the second semester character analysis paper, second semester final, or you can go to tools and assignments. This lists all the assignments, and it will be probably the very last one down here at least. Here it is. Nope. Second semester final character analysis paper, and you could click on it and it will take you to it. Um, so I did send a list if you were exempt, so you didn't have to do it. If not, let me make sure. For some reason, it is not showing the download. So let's make sure we get that on there. All right, now let me go back and check it just to make sure here. And I'm going to go to tools, assignments, and I know it's towards the bottom. Second semester final character analysis, and here it is. So you want to download this and open it as we are going through this video. All right, so you're going to pick your character. Type in anything that's highlighted in yellow, you're going to type in. So I chose Friar Lawrence. If you do Friar Lawrence, you cannot use anything I put in this video or guided document here. You have to come up with your own. So what do you know about the character? He is a priest. He is not involved with the fighting. He likes both families. He marries Romeo and Juliet. He helps hide Romeo, makes a way for Romeo and Juliet to spend one night together, makes plans. to reunite them. Right? So it's kind of just an overview of what you know about them, just basic information. Now you're going to look at your character. You're going to name three characteristics that you're going to use in the paper. I found four because I really wanted the risky choices and overconfident. So that's fine if you find four, right? But you're going to list your traits here. And then you're going to find a quote that proves that trait. Now, here's where you can use Google, Bing. You can even use Chat GPT, and you can tell it, find a quote with Juliet showing she's naive, right? And then it will bring up quotes and you choose the one you want. Be sure you put it in quotation marks and you cite it as in what act and what scene. And then you're going to tell why this matters. All right. So we say Friar Lawrence has a kind heart. We found the proof. So what? What does that mean? What's that have to do with the play? How does that impact the plot? That's the why it matters. Right? So then you're going to fill in why it matters. So you'll have the trait, the proof, and why it matters. This is going to make writing your paper much easier. Right? And you can watch this video all the way through, then you can go back and pause it at the sections, whatever is good for you. Right? So there's your turn. You're going to fill this out. And if you have four traits, just hit your tab button and it will give you a fourth block. Now that we have our traits, we know what we're going to say. We want to write our thesis statement. A thesis statement tells the reader what you're going to try to prove in that paper. A thesis statement cannot be in a fact. Think of the thesis statement as it's your opinion, but we state it as a fact. All right. Someone has to be able to argue the other side. So, fact, dogs are part of the canine classification. We can't argue that. That's a fact, right? So, that is not a thesis statement. Remember, you can't use personal pronouns. So you can't say, I think dogs are better pets than cats, or in my opinion, dogs are better pets than cats. Right? To turn this into a thesis, just leave off that I statement and make it sound like a fact. Dogs are better pets than cats. Now, is that a fact or is that an opinion? Can we argue the opposite? Cats are better pets than dogs. If we can argue it, it's an opinion. Right? Now, for right now, we're just writing a simple thesis. We can polish it in the revision and editing. We're just getting our rough draft. So you're going to write your thesis below with the following format. Right? So you're going to put your character and character traits in, a verb phrase showing the impact, and the effect on the plot. Here's an example. In Romeo and Juliet, Friar Lawrence's kind-hearted dreams of peace with his overconfidence lead to risky choices that end the feud, but not in the way Friar Lawrence had planned. Right? So I look up here, I use kind heart, I use the peace, I use risky choices, and overconfident, all in my thesis. Now you're going to write your thesis here. Now we're going to go into the introduction, right? This is going to be a 5-paragraph essay. Writing the introduction. You're going to put the name of the play and give an overall vague information on it, basic information. Introduce the character. Use the information above when it said, "What do you know about the character?" right here, use this information to write a sentence or to introducing the character. And then you're going to state your thesis, which you wrote up here. So here's an example. Romeo and Juliet is a story about young love, senseless feuds, families not communicating, and impulse decision making. One important person in the play is Friar Lawrence. Okay, that's who I'm going to be talking about, so I'm going to introduce him there. A well meaning priest that tries to help in the feud between the Montagues and Capulets, right? Basic information there. In Romeo and Juliet, Friar Lawrence's kind-hearted dreams of peace with his overconfidence lead to risky choice that end the feud, but not in the way Friar Lawrence had planned. There is my thesis statement. That three sentences together makes my introduction paragraph. So now you can pause the video, write your introduction paragraph. All right, now we're going to go on to the body. You're going to take the chart above that you filled out the information and plug that information in to make the bodies. I only want 3 paragraphs, so I'm going to combine the last 2 traits into one. So my first paragraph is going to talk about kind-hearted. If you scroll up here, you'll see that's it. My second one will talk about wanting peace. And my third will talk about risky choices and overconfident. I'm going to use these quotes and these reasonings. So each paragraph is going to have the trait, the proof, why it matters. So paragraph 1, kind-hearted. Friar Lawrence is a kind-hearted person who helps others when they are suffering. He is the one who married Romeo and Juliet. When Romeo kills Tybalt and is banished, Friar Lawrence brings him to the church and hides him. He then helps Romeo make a plan to be with Juliet for the night. He states, right, and then I'll put the direct quote there. All right, go get thee to thy love as we decreed. Ascend her chamber hence and comfort her. Then I got it from Act 3, Scene 3. Friar Lawrence helps give Romeo and Juliet one night to enjoy their young love. Right, so this is the impact on the play. Then I'm going to go to the second one. He wanted peace. Use a transition. Right. Next, the friar desires peace for Verona and wants the feud to end. Romeo comes to the friar early in the morning and asks if the friar will marry Juliet and him. The friar agrees and states, "For this alliance may so happy prove to turn your household's rancor to pure love." Again, I give where I have found that, Act 2, Scene 3. The friar is hoping that this marriage will help the adults see that the feud is stupid and needs to end so the town can have peace. Now, I may not be happy with that because I wouldn't use the word stupid, but I can correct that when I'm editing and revising. So right now, I'm just getting my thoughts down in a rough draft. And the last one. Now I combined two, so this paragraph is a little longer than the other two because I did risky behavior and overconfidence in one paragraph. A flaw with Friar Lawrence is that he is overconfident. See right there, I just found the mistake. That this wedding will end the feud. He only sees the parents reacting in a positive way. He does not take time to consider what will happen if the parents react in a negative manner. The overconfidence leads to risky behavior when Juliet is being forced to marry Paris. Juliet comes to the friar begging for his help and states she will take her own life before she marries Paris. Friar Lawrence knows she is serious and comes up with the idea of the sleep potion. This potion is very dangerous and will make it appear for 48 hours that Juliet is dead. He tells Juliet, Take thou this vow, being then in bed, and this distilled liquor drink thou of. Act 4, Scene 1. Friar Lawrence is so confident that this plan will work that he only sends one letter to Romeo about it. In the end, this plan ended up costing Romeo and Juliet their lives. Now you're going to write your three body paragraphs here, right? So pause the video, use the chart that you made up here, that you filled in, and write your three body paragraphs. All right, now for the last section. Now that we have written the introduction and body, we need to wrap it up in a nice conclusion. You're going to restate your thesis in fresh words. Do not repeat it word for word. You're going to quickly remind the readers of your 3 points. And you're going to end with a final thought about the lesson. What's the takeaway? What do you want your audience to realize, to think about? Right? Friar Lawrence's kind heart ends up causing harm. Even though Friar Lawrence has good intentions, his overconfidence and risky shortcuts ended up taking the lives of 5 people. The play shows that even good intentions need careful planning so they do not turn into a tragedy. Right? Very short, simple, to the point. And I'm getting my point across that we all need to take time to stop and think. Even if we have good intentions and we don't carefully plan that, then it can end up in a tragedy. So you're going to write your conclusion here. So if you need to pause the video, do that. Right, now type in our paper. We're going to follow these steps. Open a blank Word document. There is our blank Word document. And I'm going to go ahead and have you save it. Down here, it tells you to save it. So you're going to do File, Save As, choose where you want to save it. I always put mine on the desktop, but I also have my desktop set to backup in my OneDrive. So you're going to put your last name, R&J Character Analysis, and tell it to save. Now we're going to add page numbers, it says. So we're going to go to Insert, Header and Footer, Page Number. We want ours on the top of the page, it says, in the right corner. Then we want to type our name, our last name only. Be sure to capitalize the first letter and then hit space. Right? That puts it right in front of the page number. Now you see that dotted line? Double click anywhere below it. To check and make sure you did it correctly, hit enter till you get to the next page, and it should have a 2 after your last name, like this. If it does not, then you need to go back up here, delete this, and go back to insert, header and footer, page number, top of page, all the way on the right. Do not touch anything. The cursor's already set. Capitalize the first letter in your last name, hit space, double click somewhere below that. Right? So that's our page number. So we've done 1 and 2. We've done 3. So we want a proper heading. So we're going to put it on the left side. You're going to type your first and last name, your class, ELA 9, your teacher's name, Mrs., capital MRS period, capital HICKS. You're going to put the due date. The due date is a bit different. You put the day, the month, the year, and then you're going to put the title. I haven't thought of a title, so I'm just going to put the word title. Then I'm going to hit enter. Now the title should be centered, so I'm going to highlight it, go to paragraph, and tell it to center. All right, now we have written the introduction, body, and conclusion over here. So all we have to do is scroll up and copy and paste. Here is my introduction, so I'm going to copy it and paste it. I'm going to find my body. Paragraph 1, paragraph 2, paragraph 3, and then I'm going to copy and paste my conclusion. So I'll put the proper heading. Copied and pasted. Now it tells me highlight the whole paper. So I'm going to put Control A. Then I'm going to go to fonts and I'm going to find Times New Roman. Make sure it's 12 and hit my enter. That will change all of it to Times New Roman. Why everything is still highlighted? We're going to go to paragraph, line spacing, and tell it 2. Now it tells us in step 9 here, we need to remove extra space. We have some big spaces sometimes. Sometimes it doesn't. But to make sure we get it properly, we're going to go back to paragraphs, back to line spacing, come down to line spacing options, and click on this. Don't add space between paragraphs of the same style. Make sure that is check marked and click OK. You see it kind of tightened it up, right? That's our saving the document. We did that. Now we want to indent all paragraphs. So the first one did indent, this one didn't. So I want to put my cursor in front of it, hit the tab button, and do that for each new paragraph. Right? So you should have an introduction indented, 3 bodies, 1, 2, 3, and a conclusion. It should be all nice, neat, tidy. Anytime you mention the name of a play, Romeo and Juliet, it has to be italicized. Right here, I see an extra set, so let's take that quote away. So we made sure it's all nice and neat. Then you want to run spelling and grammar check. Do not use AI. This includes Grammarly. What happens with Grammarly's? When you put it in there, it changes your word choice and your sentence structure, and that is AI. It is changing your work, rewriting it, and that will flag it for AI. So make sure you don't do that. So we want to go to review. You can have it read aloud if you want. I thought review had this in here. So I'm going to have to look for there, spell check and grammar. And I tell it, oh, it scores it. Then it tells me there's one. Okay, that is a direct quote, so I can't change it. So we just ignore it once. Grammar, there are five. Okay, the friar, I prefer to have mine capitalized because it is a particular person. If a title names a particular person, then we capitalize it. So friar throughout here is capitalized for me. So I'm going to tell it to ignore, stop checking for that. And then we have one more. It looks like I'll put an extra space in there. So if I go take it out, so I'm not sure. Let's see what it's telling me. All right, it's a misspelling there. Then it gives you more here for clarity, other things you can run through and look at them. See, I like this. This potion is very dangerous. Well, I like extremely dangerous. That sounds better. So I'm going to click on it and change it. Clarity. Okay, it doesn't have any suggestions, so I'll just tell it to ignore. No suggestions, so I tell it to ignore. Right? So this you can use, but do not run your papers through Grammarly or anything like that. Right. So that is our paper. Then the next video is going to show you how to edit and revise, and that will be posted tomorrow.